5 years ago, I'm standing in the city of Accra in Ghana. Next to me are some Swedish tourists. They're going, and then in the middle of one of those, Barbara Kingsolver. We are very fortunate to have a world famous novelist living in our community, and we're very fortunate that although she tries very hard to just be an ordinary member of this community, every now and then her passion overwhelms that sense, and she decides to come out and get involved in a public event. So please, if you would, welcome Barbara Kingsolver.
I was contemplating speaking Swedish to you. I wouldn't get very far. 350 is the most important number in your life. And that's why we're all here today. I didn't know this until pretty recently, but it is. 350 is more important than 98.6. It's more important than your birthday, your anniversary, which your spouse will disagree with, but you know. It's more important than 9/11. It's even more important than 911. Do you know what this number is about? It's very, very useful. It helps us to think and talk about the problem and the solution that's in front of us. 350 is the number of carbon dioxide molecules that the atmosphere can absorb, measured in parts per million, that our atmosphere can absorb before the whole system starts to go out of whack. It took climate scientists a while to figure this out. Unfortunately, it took so long that we've already passed up that number. We already have almost 390 parts per million carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's a matter of life and death for us to get that number back down to 350 as soon as humanly possible. Now, let's talk for just 1.5 minutes about what I mean when I say out of whack. By burning fossil fuels, humans have already raised the average temperature of the planet by 1.5 degrees. It sounds like nothing, right? It sounds like the tiniest increment on your thermostat. So let's talk about that in terms that don't sound so tiny. Terms like flood, drought, hurricane, bursting levees, famine. The visible face of climate change is water, and that's something we can see. In fact, it's something probably half of you can feel right now on the backs of your neck. For years, it's just a very useful way to form this conversation and have it with our neighbors and ourselves. For years, we've been warned about this dark curtain called global warming that might fall on our grandchildren. But that curtain is falling here and now, and it looks like water. It looks like shifting rain patterns. It's simple physics. Hot air holds more water than cold air. So that means a whole lot of warmed up air over the ocean brews up these superstorms, the likes of which we have never seen before in human time. Storms with names like Katrina. Likewise, in arid places, warmer air sucks up more and faster in evaporation, so it leaves behind drought. And we can see that too. We can see it in firestorms in California and Australia. The third largest ice cap in the world, after the South Pole and the North Pole, sits on the top of the Himalaya range. It's called the Tibetan Plateau. That's the third biggest chunk of ice on this planet. It feeds 5 rivers whose names you know: the Indus, the Ganges, the Yangtze. The great rivers of China are all fed year-round by that glacier, which is now melting. You can stand there and watch it roar down the hill. It is a quarter of the people in the whole wide world wondering what will become of them when their rivers have departed. Right here in Washington County, the summer brought us, well, you know what it brought us, these endless rains that never quite ripened their tomatoes, and we were not alone. Rainfall across North America was up 7% last year because of climate change. The last decade has brought us more extreme storms and floods than we've ever seen before. So as we wade through the wreck of one bad year and brace for another, this word disaster starts to mock us. After enough repetitions of shocking weather, we can't stay shocked, right? And we can't stay discouraged. Okay, I took my 2 minutes to discourage you. Now I'm going to undo that and tell you that we don't have time for pessimism. It's way too late for that. What we have time for now is to do things, as many as possible. If it helps to get mad, then we get mad. We can shut down the companies that exploit our natural home by refusing to do business with them. We have done hard things before in this country. We've done things much harder than this. I promise you. And here's an example. 60 years ago, Americans stopped buying cars completely. Did you know that? For 4 years, there was not one Chevrolet in the USA for sale to civilians. Not one, any kind of car for sale for ordinary use. If you're lucky enough to have any old people in your life, ask them about World War II. People lived for years on 1 gallon of gas a week. They lived without meat or cheese or bed sheets or typewriters or wristwatches or 1,000 things that we don't think we can live without. They did. The national motto was basically, we make do with nothing new. That was us. Where did that country go? I believe that we still live in it. I believe that it's a tradition in this country to change our lives for the greater good. We've given up many things, even things that were very good for the economy, after we understood that they were damaging to the world. Don't let anybody tell you it's unpatriotic to refuse to support a sector of the economy that you believe is evil. Slavery was really good for the economy, and it was evil. And we said, no more of that, we will find another way. We said that about DDT and lead paint and smoking on airplanes and a million other things that we understood were damaging to the world. We keep on finding new ways of being good Americans. This time, being good Americans might mean taking the flag down from the shopping mall and planting it right here in front of the farmer's market. If our economy is dirty, we build ourselves a new one right here in our own hands, and we make it run clean. We know how to do this. The really important thing I want you to remember about that number, 350, is that it's a number. It's incremental. We drove that number up, one carbon molecule at a time. As Anthony said, carbon in, carbon out. So, one molecule at a time, everything counts. Every local meal you eat counts. This adds up. Every light switch you turn on, every item you recycle or reuse or just figure out that you don't even need at all. Every gallon of gas you don't burn. The problem is large, but the solution is exactly the size of your life. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing.